Chapter 3. Entering the crater. By the time we reach the gate, we're the kind of hot that's so intense you can't even remember what cold feels like. We dump our bags on the ground while Hoach looks for a way in. On either side of the gate is a spike-topped fence that stretches through the woods for as far as I can see. And on the other side of the gate, there's only the dusty road and a buttload more trees. "Shouldn't someone be here to open the gate?" Mr. Tompkins asked. "I thought they were expecting us." Now that the moment of shock and horror is over, I can tell he's seriously triggered about his favourite t-shirt. "I think it's fantastic that they take security so seriously. The children are going to be completely safe here," Hoach says. "She'll probably give him a sticker for that," I say, and the others laugh. Without warning, the gates shudder and start to open. "Like magic," Hoach beams. "There are cameras, miss," Adrian says, pointing to the top of the gate posts. "Not Hogwarts though, is it?" Katia whispers. "More like Arkham Asylum," I say, as the gates rattle to a stop and the space between them seems to beckon us in a creepy, silent way. "Where actually is the centre?" Mr. Tompkins says, looking down the winding road that disappears over the horizon. "Is it much further? It looks like miles." "He wants to get his t-shirt in the wash," I say. "Before that stain dries in," Katia giggles. "I'm sure it's not much further." Hoach grabs the handle of her wheelie case. "Come on, let's sing some motivational songs to make the walk more pleasant." We all groan. Our mouths are rabbit poo dry, and the last thing we want to do is sing. Miss Hoach struts ahead anyway, pulling her case, which is cream-coloured with sparkly bits on it, the same as her jacket. Yes, she's wearing a jacket. And shoes. Nobody has ever seen Miss Hoach wearing shoes that aren't high heels. She wears them in the snow. She wears them on sports day, and apparently she wears them to activity centres in the middle of nowhere. William Breaming from Year 4 swears he saw her when he was on holiday in Switzerland and that she was wearing high heels while skiing. No one really believes that he saw her, because we all know that teachers don't do anything with their lives outside of school, but the thought of her wearing heels on skis is not that much of a stretch. So we walk for ages until finally the road starts to dip downwards and we get our first proper view of Crater Lake. The crater is bigger than I thought. It's like a bowl set into the ground, and it's roomy enough to be the next Jurassic Park. A river wiggles back and forth down the last steep side and flows into the lake at the bottom. A wooden pier thing stretches from a hut at the edge of the lake into the middle, and there are canoes lined up against it. Halfway up the steepest side is a large building that looks kind of like a school or a prison, although those are pretty much the same thing. There's a flat grassy area next to the building, and I can see a climbing wall at one end and the obstacle course running across it. Overall, it looks like either a completely awesomely fun place or the perfect location for a Goosebumps book. "Do you think there are snakes?" Chet's asked, edging forward to peer down the slope of the crater. His foot catches on a mound of moss and he almost tumbles down the hill. "Aw, man!" Chet's is not a fan of nature. "Maybe little ones," I say. "Nothing poisonous. I wish we were sharing a room." I should tell you about how me and Chet's became friends. Chet's joined halfway through Year 1, when all the friendship groups were basically formed. Nobody made much of an effort with Chet's. He wore his uniform too neatly, and he looked like a lost baby owl. I kind of felt sorry for him, but I had my own troubles to deal with. Anyway, he was standing on his own one lunchtime when a wasp landed on his ear. Everyone else screamed and laughed and ran to a safe distance, but he just stood there. The fear on his face was like nothing I'd ever seen before. He was more scared in that moment than I'd ever been of anything in my life, and I couldn't stand it. I ran over and flicked the wasp away. I saved Chet and got stung in the process. It's pretty much been like that ever since. One thing I can't do for Chet, as Hoach so unkindly reminded everyone, is share a room. I've never had a sleepover at my house, and I've never slept over at anyone else's because... reasons. The word at school is it's because I'm a vampire, and that wasn't really helped by the fact that when my teeth grew in, they looked sort of pointy. They're rubbed down a lot now, but people don't like to forget that kind of thing. That's why they call me Fangs. But as I can't tell them the truth, I just suck it up and hope that one day my life will be normal. So I just say, "Sorry, Chet." We start making our way down the slope towards the building. The air is so thick with heat that we practically have to chew our way through it, and all I can hear is the crunch of our feet on the gravel path. "It's so quiet," Katia says. Like end of the world quiet, I agree. If it was the top of the world, Big Mac stops to take a sip of water, do you think Hoach would still be wearing those shoes? Probably, says Chet. Imagine if she put on some trainers, I say. It'd be like the first sign of the apocalypse. Mum says presentation is important and that it's impressive that Miss Hoach sets such a great example for us all, Chet says. Yeah, but your mum also makes you wear a shirt and tie on non-uniform day when the rest of us are chilling in our jeans, I say. I'm not sure we should agree with everything she comes out with. True dat, says Chet, and we all crack up again. By the time we reach the building's entrance, we still haven't seen a single human being. Shouldn't there be Crater Lake dudes, like, doing stuff, Big Mac says. Hoach presses a buzzer next to the door. Nothing happens. They must be getting ready for us, she says, and she buzzes again. 3 loud blasts. We stare at the frosted glass on the double doors, but can't see any movement behind it. She presses again, holding down the buzzer for a good 10 seconds. Nothing but silence. A screech and a cackle suddenly splits the air in two, and a voice says over some kind of tannoy system, "Attention, pupils and teachers. Welcome to Crater Lake, where adventure awaits. I have released the lock. Please push the door and seat yourselves in the waiting area. I will be with you presently to prepare you for a visit that will change you forever." Another crackle, and the door clicks open. We sit in the waiting room, which is so new it still smells of paint, and chat amongst ourselves. It's been a weird day so far, and something about Crater Lake just feels off. We expect stuff to happen, for people to come and tell us what's going on, but we're left alone for ages. Adrian walks over to the other 2 doors in the room and pulls on the handles, but they're both locked. At last the door opens and a huge man with a bald head walks into the room. "Apologies for the delay," he says, wiping his hands on his trousers. "Which one of you is Miss Hoach?" "That would be me." Hoach jumps up. I can tell she's torn between being annoyed by the wait and wanting to carry on pretending that everything is just fabulous. "Welcome to Crater Lake," the man says. "My name is Digger." He points to his name badge as if to prove Digger actually is his name, which, to be fair, I'm a bit doubtful about. "I'm the centre manager here, and as our very first guests, I wanted to take care of you myself." "That's super, Digger." Hoach pronounces his name as if it tastes disgusting in her mouth. "There's been an accident just outside your gates. A young chap who works here seems to have had a mishap and is unconscious in the road. Our coach and driver are waiting with him, but we have no mobile reception. Could you call an ambulance urgently, please?" "One of our chaps?" Digger asks, not looking especially concerned. "His name is Dale," Adrian says. "He's wearing a Crater Lake polo shirt. Have you not noticed he's missing?" "Oh, yes, Dale. We have been looking for him. He's unconscious, you say?" "Unconscious and bleeding from the head," Hoach nods. "Possibly dead," Chet says. "Thanks so much for letting me know," Digger says. And get this, he smiles. Really smiles. Me, Chet, Katia and Big Mac raise eyebrows at each other. "I'll deal with him immediately. Please excuse me for 1 minute more." "Of course," Hoach says. Digger goes back through the door, which magically opens for him even though it's stuck tight for all of us. "Maybe he has super strength," I say. "He walks like a minotaur." "Or maybe this is Hogwarts after all," says Katia. When he comes back, he and the teachers talk business, and so do we. So far, this trip has not been what we expected. A lot of seriously weird stuff has gone on, and we haven't even been near a rope swing or made a replica of the Shard out of lolly sticks, and apparently we're not going to be doing any activities today. "Children," Hoach says, "we've decided that the best thing to do is relax tonight and start fresh in the morning. Once we've unpacked, perhaps you could give us a tour of the centre, Digger." "I'm afraid the staff are busy and I'm needed elsewhere. We'll make sure you're fully acquainted with Crater Lake tomorrow. May I show you to your rooms?" Digger says, picking up about 10 suitcases and walking through the door without giving her a chance to argue. As he hoists a backpack over his shoulder, I notice some spatters down the side of his polo shirt. "Is that blood?" Big Mac asks. "It looks like blood." Unfortunately, Trent is right behind us. "I thought you vampires only attack people at night, Sparshot," he laughs. "Couldn't wait to sink your fangs in, could you?" "Lance has been here the whole time, Trent," Chet says. "It couldn't have been him." "Well, I don't see any other bloodsuckers around here, chubby." Trent and his mates crack up. What's all the noise? Hoach glares over at us. Lance and Chet were just discussing dinner, miss, Trent smirks. Then I shall have to take a house point from Lance for being rude and disruptive. Totally fair. Is dinner almost ready to be served, Digger? She asks the walrus on legs, who is striding ahead. Dinner? He stops for a moment but doesn't turn around. Dinner. Yes, dinner will be ready. Soon. The staff have been preparing it. Fabulous. And could I trouble you for something to drink first, please, Digger? Hoach says. We've walked a long way in this heat, and the children could really do with some cool water. Digger drops the bags he's carrying. His hands fall to his sides. He sort of shivers, which is weird because, like I said, it's extra hot in here. He seems to take a moment. You'd think she'd asked him to murder a baby swan or something. Then he bends to pick up the bags. There are drinking fountains in the communal areas. Please help yourselves. He walks us down a wide corridor and stops at the top of a narrow flight of stairs, which, unlike the rest of the place, doesn't look newly decorated. The single room is down there for the child with special needs, Digger says, pointing to a door at the bottom of the stairs that looks suspiciously like it leads to a basement. Lance! Hoach and Trent call at the same time. A few people snigger. I pick up my bags and push through the class to the stairway. Looks like the place where all the bodies are buried, Chet whispers. Perfect for fangs then, Trent says. Vampires suck blood from the living, not the dead, idiot, I say, as I accidentally whack his shoulder with my backpack. The room is fully furnished, Digger says, but for significant reasons we've had to rechannel resources, so the outside isn't complete. I'm sure it will be adequate for Lance, Hoach says. It's better than he deserves anyway. The rest of the class continue down the corridor, Big Mac, Katia and Chet turning to smile encouragingly at me before they go. I tell myself I'm not that bothered. I'm okay with being alone. And it's true that the thought of sharing a room with anyone else makes me feel sick. I open the door, half expecting to be ambushed by a killer clown, but the room is boringly normal. I shove my clothes into a drawer and hide my equipment under the bed, just in case someone decides to have a snoop. Sitting on my bed, on my own, in the dead quiet of the centre, a little bit of sadness creeps in. I imagine the others mucking around in their dorms, having fun together. Then I text my mum from the phone I snuck in, knowing it probably won't send because of the no reception thing, to tell her I'm having a brilliant time.